minutes after 8 o'clock. Good morning from Magic 95.9. It is time for our County Commissioners Update. Washington County Commissioner at Large, John Spruill. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good. Hey, it's Friday. We're overcast, expecting some rain, but hey, it's Friday, right?
Yes, sir.
John, you know, we always love talking with you on Fridays because we get input from Mayor Roth on Tuesdays and, of course, our county manager, Curtis Potter, on Thursdays, and it gives me an opportunity to set the platform of what we talk about. And what I wanted to ask you this morning is that when the county commissioners meet and they've got an agenda and they go through that agenda, for lack of a better term, do you all ever have a session where you sit around with the other commissioners and say, hey, you know, we've got this going on and we've got that going, just kind of a conversational posture during a county commissioners meeting? And if so, you know, is it just talking about things going on, or is there, you know, more of a conversation of issues that are officially presented to the commissioners?
Right. So looking at our agenda that we had for this past meeting on April the 7th, the line item number 9 is other items by chair, commissioners, county manager, finance officer, and or clerk. So during that time, we can talk about basically whatever we want to talk about or bring up something. Sometimes we talk about or tell the other commissioners and the public that's there some of the things or committees that we've worked on or trips that we've taken to somewhere that has to do with the county, that we can bring back the information that we've learned from that and relay it to our fellow commissioners and the public at large. So there's a time in every agenda, except for when we have a special meeting. A lot of times we don't have other items category. So in this, but in our regular meetings, yes, there is a time where we can talk about or bring up whatever subject that we want to talk about. And then when we have workshops, those are pretty informal. We could pretty much bring up whatever we wanted to and talk about that because it's an open workshop. And of course the public is invited to come to any of those. The only time the public isn't invited is when we go into closed session.
You know, John, one of the things, and we get more attention, no other way to put it, but things that go on in Plymouth. You don't hear about things that are of concern for Roper or Cresswell as often. So do the county commissioners ever look at the municipality of Plymouth? I mean, we've got issues with trash pickup. That has been a hot topic. All this mess with people wanting to develop businesses, and the city council is, for some reason, against it. And then you've got the situation of the Plymouth Police Department needing assistance from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. So do these topics come up in conversation with the county commissioners for evaluation, or just to have a little chat in assessing what is going on?
If one of the commissioners wants to bring that up during the other items, then yes, that could be discussed during that time. There is we had just recently with the town of Plymouth the interlocal agreement for the providing services from the deputies, the sheriff's office, over to the town when they have a shortfall. So that's one of the things that could be discussed during that time. Or, for example, we have the MTOC building, or emergency management building, that was just bid out. In the last special meeting we had, we went ahead and approved the awarding of that project to the contractor. And we can ask for updates for those things, or if there's an update that we want on the school, where we're at with that, talking about the consolidated school, because they're still working on that to get the punch list items complete. So there's always, we can always ask a question, because that's what we're there to do. We're there for oversight of what our government is doing. That's basically what we do. We give oversight to the public in general about what's going on within the county, and try to keep keep everybody informed and to make sure everything is going according to plan.
I saw something very disappointing yesterday where the land that has been earmarked for the putt-putt golf course and all that, and the sand had been, or the foundation dirt had been put and had obviously been, worked on. And right in front of that project was a for sale sign. And, I don't want to beat a horse to death, but, and Ron White, comedian, said you can't fix stupid. And this has really bothered me as a citizen of an economic development opportunity. And it's just, we're letting it die on the vine. And I know that citizens may want to look at the county commissioner and say, you guys, do you have the power to coerce this project to become a reality? And again, we've talked about drawing the line in the sand. I mean, how much influence, if any, can the county commissioners have on one of the municipalities' town councils?
There's not a whole lot that we can do as county commissioners within the town limits. There's just certain things that we can't do. So unless the town would like to change who deals with their zoning, they do have the option. They could do away with their zoning board or whatever and allow the zoning and planning to be done by the county's board or committee. But then the ultimate say would still have to go to the town council, and they could accept or deny whatever recommendation that the planning board had. So while we're talking about planning board, just a second, I would like to just give a little bit of praise to Alan Pittman, who is our building inspector, but he's also the planning board director, and the planning board, and the county commissioners. So in our meeting that we had this past Monday, there was so as a little bit of background, we had a business that wanted to locate out across from the school, the new school. And they asked if they could tie on to the lift station that's out there. And the town said, no, we're at capacity, you can't do that. So the zoning ordinance, how it was written, said that all commercial properties had to hook up to water and sewer. So that eliminated them from being able to develop, because it didn't have sewer out there. Well, there was sewer, but there was none that they could hook on to. So that kind of blocked that project, or the town kind of blocked that project outside of their jurisdictional limit. So what happened was Alan Pittman and the planning board went to work, and they revised our zoning ordinance, which changed some of the verbiage in there, which would allow, if Mitchell Patrick, who works for the health department for the septic tank systems and environmental systems, if it could be approved, a septic tank system and or some type of treatment system on site, then commercial development could go forward. They also changed some of the verbiage in there about what's allowed in commercial districts and that kind of stuff. So what had to happen is they had to have a special meeting, the planning board, when I say they, and then we had a special meeting with a public forum to ask for any public input, which there wasn't any. So my fellow commissioners and myself approved unanimously the change to the zoning ordinance, which allowed commercial development to have septic systems to be able to build. And then that piece of property, which was zoned for residential, which it's located right beside the concrete plant and across from the school, we rezoned that for commercial, which opens the door for this owner to be able to develop his commercial business that he wants to put there. And I just have to say, and I said it in the meeting, that I give praise to Alan Pittman, the planning board, and my fellow commissioners for seeing that we need to, it's okay to make changes for positive growth within Washington County. And sometimes we got to think outside the box to get something done. But in this case, thinking outside the box was no detriment to anybody. It was making a change to allow growth within Washington County, even though the town was trying to prevent that growth outside of their jurisdictional limit. And talking about jurisdictional limit, the town's zoning stops at the city limit. But there's also the ETJ, or extraterritorial jurisdictional zone, that extends 1 mile outside the town limit, which I think is ridiculous. I don't think if the town wants control over something, they need to control within their limits and not out into the county. There's also a bill that's been introduced in the Senate. It's Senate Bill 314 for the North Carolina General Assembly that strips that power away from the towns. And I am really hoping that that passes through the General Assembly and becomes law, so that the county can take back up to the city limits that. Now there's a process where we could take that back, but it's a 2-year process to be able to do that, and you have to get everybody on board with it, and it gets messy. But if this bill passes, it will automatically be able to take that space back, which will bring what the county does right up to the town limits.
You know, John, I think some of the yo-yos on the city council don't realize the statement, what we do today affects our tomorrows.
Yes.
And if they keep on just shooting down any and all projects of progress, what is the message that they are sending? And I don't get it. I mean, again, people are seeing a value in our community, in Washington County as a whole, and they want to invest their money that they've earned in our community, and the town council, a few particular individuals, not all, just absolutely don't want anything to come to be a positive. And I cannot believe, to be a responsible elected official and holding the interests of your constituents, that you're not doing what's best for the community. I mean, when you bring business in, that brings in money, and then that generates that quarter set tax that we would realize. I mean, a putt-putt golf course was not excluded from that. So you bring, this thing has really gotten under my saddle, because name the closest putt-putt place, I guess, maybe, go all the way down to Kitty Hawk, Nag's Head, that area. But, I mean, this is just, I just cannot believe, just when I think that the town council and certain key individuals have done all that they can, they shock me and show me how much worse they can do. And I just, it's got to be frustrating. Even though, the commissioners, county commissioners, have got to be scratching your head saying, what are they doing?
Yes, I've heard some of my fellow commissioners make that same statement, and I definitely have. I'm very vocal about me being upset, or not so much upset, but just scratching my head too about why are they doing this. It seems counterproductive, and it is counterproductive. To be able to have people that want to invest money, that's what we're looking for. That's why we created in the county. Kudos to my fellow commissioners for seeing that vision and bringing it to life, to actually go out and search for people to come bring money. And if we bring them here and they want to locate in the town, and the town says, no, we don't want you to do that, or yeah, that's fine, you can do that, but we're going to put XYZ stipulation on you that prevents them from wanting to be able to do that work or do that investment. It's just counterintuitive. I mean, it's counterproductive. It baffles me why they want to stop this growth. Again, like I said last time, the $50,000 or $60,000, I think is the number that everyone is using, bond that they put on that development is because they think they're going to have to go in there and tear it down on somebody's private property when they have buildings that they own that are barricaded because they are crumbling and they're afraid that a brick might fall on someone's head. They need to get the plank out of their eye before they look at the speck in somebody else's. That's the way I see that.
Well said. I totally agree. And, we just hired an economic developer, and this has got to be a challenge, knowing that, we've just made the investment for this person, and they've got to go out and say, hey, I'm looking for business opportunities for Plymouth, Washington County, and then, any business developer would look and say, hey, let me check out what's going on there. And when they see the circus of the town council of Plymouth, I can't see anyone with good business sense that would want to come only to be shut down or not accepted. I just don't get it, and I really feel for the economic developer. They definitely have put them in a position of selling mine tickets to blind people.
Yep, it is a blemish. It's something that we're going to continue to work on. At least I am, to try and correct. And just like I've offered the past 3 weeks, my phone number is 252-508-6912. I'll be glad to talk to any and every town council member, mayor, city manager, whatever we can do as a county to try and help and rectify the situation, to push forward so we can all get on the same page, so we can all pull the cart in the same direction instead of pulling it apart. It's like the county's trying to pull the cart forward, make the county grow, but the town council has the brakes locked down. So I don't understand the mentality. Maybe they could explain it to me a little better. If there was some kind of explanation, I might be able to have some sympathy towards what they're talking about. But as it stands right now, I see no logical explanation for putting the brakes on development when your town and your county is losing 15% of your population because there's no jobs here of real interest or real value or whatever to keep people here or keep kids here that are growing up and they're moving away because they have to go to another county to find a job.
Exactly. Well said. John, I tell you, I admire people that get into politics. I couldn't do it. I have no filter. So, you know how that goes.
It takes a lot of restraint.
I know. And again, you know, it's like the obvious. The elephant in the room is there, and to ignore it is just mind-boggling, to say the least. But as always, we appreciate you being with us and the candor that you bring. And again, you're available. People want to talk with you, even members of the town council, then by all means, you're ready, right?
Absolutely. I really am. One other thing before we go is we're still, there is a survey that is open. I think it's listed on the county's Facebook page. I'm not sure if it's on the website or not. There is a survey on there that the public can participate in. It has to do with the repurposing of the existing school buildings. If you don't mind, or anybody out there is listening, go complete the survey and put your comments in. The county commissioners want to hear what your thoughts are. As it relates to the Board of Elections, we're going to be moving that. We voted on moving that over to the Union School. We're repurposing the Roper Annex for the school system to do their early college at. It already houses Beaufort Community College, already leases that space. So it makes sense to just have the early college just to move in there because that's already where they're teaching the classes or where they can teach the classes. There's a nice big auditorium classroom for them, another space in there. But we're going to be moving the Board of Elections out of there and over to the Union School campus. And we're looking at moving perhaps other departments there, recreation and maybe the senior center. So weigh in with your opinions. So your opinions count. The commissioners look at that stuff. We looked at that information. The last meeting we had, Kelly combined it all and put it into a spreadsheet and presented it. So now's the time to make your voice heard, and that's the easiest way to do it, is to go in there and complete the survey.
All right, John, then I hope people will take advantage of that opportunity. But again, it's always good to have you on, and hopefully one day we'll see the sunrise on a brighter day with all the challenges that we've got. But we do appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you next week.
I appreciate the opportunity, sir, and you have a great weekend.
You too. See you now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That is John Sproul, Washington County Commissioner at Large, with our